Right, I was going to have a little chat about what we done on Crossroads last week.
Mm-hmm.
I had a look at your videos, and I could actually spot where you got yourself in a panic and then you didn't recover, yeah? So if you go back to the brief first, do you remember when you were given the brief, I actually tried to give you a bit, I came out a roll and tried to give you a little bit of guidance on the brief about I would start where we're on the major road and we deal with the minor ones first. I check the mirror and I scan right and left.
Yeah.
And you said, no, you didn't want to do it that way, yeah? Do you remember?
I don't remember it, but I'll take your word for that,
Yeah, so if you went from there and then done turning left and then done turning right, the bits that you miss out on the brief don't particularly matter, providing you cover them on the move, yeah?
Right.
But the idea of the brief is that it sets you up to give the lesson for the next 20, 22 minutes. And because you never mentioned turning right from major to minor,
Right.
then you forgot to mention it when we were on the move, i.e. crossing the path, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So because you didn't mention that, you forgot it. If you'd have probably mentioned it on the brief, you would have remembered it. So if you don't mention it on the brief, it's not a great big problem, but it has to be covered on the move. So even if I make a mistake on the move, then what you must do is deal with that problem, yeah?
Right.
Right, you're not going to get a 6, I'll tell you that now, yeah?
Mm.
But you must deal with it. The other thing that I would have mentioned on the brief was we were talking about turning right and a vehicle opposite me turning right.
Yeah.
Yeah? A better way of explaining that without going into great big detail about front or behind would be that if the car opposite is moving, my wheels are not moving. If the car opposite is moving before me, I'm not moving. That would have been a better way to explain it, yeah?
Right, yeah.
But looking at the first couple of crossroads that we done, I don't know if you can remember, but you got yourself in a little bit of a tizzy coming round to the first one. You started to talk about something that had nothing to do with crossroads, and before we had a chance, you were very late starting to talk about the mirror, signal, position, speed, look, yeah?
Yeah.
And the reason why I tried to ring you tonight, saying if you got a break, give me a ring, was that I'd only just watched your video, and I got the impression that because I told you I had done a merging and I had done left and right hand turns, I had the impression that you were expecting me to use the mirror, signal, position.
No, because on Blaine's videos he makes that plain that they won't transfer any of that knowledge.
No, I won't. I will transfer that knowledge, and I will be quite keen on transferring that knowledge quite quickly, because I have done it before, and I have given you a lifeline. So I've done it before by saying I've done it on my last lesson. I've done right and left hand turns or emerging, whatever. So if that wasn't on your mind, then I don't really know why you got yourself in a tizzy over, because you seem to expect me to know it. You weren't trying to get me to stop at the giveaway line on the first one.
Yeah.
Or was it just the fact that you got your knickers in a bit of a twist on the first one and you had a bit of a struggle recovering?
I think that was it. Yeah.
Right, so all I can say to you is, if you make a mistake, you got to leave it where you've made it and think, right, now I've got to recover this, yeah?
Yeah.
Because don't forget, even if it goes down to the last crossroads and you recover on the last crossroads and you nail all the points, you're going to pass.
Yeah.
If it gets to the last crossroad and you haven't managed to stop me out at the white line or whatever, then obviously you're blowing it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Certainly does,
But there was one emerge we were coming out of, and don't forget, I have done emerging before, and I did actually say "oi" on the video. I don't know why people are wondering what I said "oi" for. Do you know why I said "oi"?
I can't remember now.
Right. We were turning right on the way around to the crossroads, and it was a normal emerge, it wasn't a crossroads. And as I was looking to the left, you were looking down there. Now, as I looked to the right, the crossroads is very visible down the road, And because you were sitting there looking,
Didn't see it.
for
yeah.
me, even on the drive here, you were actually checking the merges for me, yeah?
Well, it's just a
Yeah,
habit.
yeah, I know,
Something I
Tom.
must get out of.
But you lost yourself a great big advantage there. If you'd have been looking at what was going to come into that new road, you would have spotted the crossroads down the road. And as soon as I moved off from that emerge, you'd have gone straight into the routine of the mirror signal position speed look routine. But you lost that opportunity because as I was turning out, I was looking and I thought, where's he looking? And you were looking around there. Yeah?
Yeah. Now, when it's phase one, because you're looking for crossroads and you're teaching, is there a problem on saying, I don't need to, on a road like this, I don't need to go any more than 20 miles an hour? Although normal driving you wouldn't, but because you're teaching it for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to you, I have actually told you in Luton the speed limits are going to be 20 mile an hour anyway.
Yeah.
And Ian doesn't tend to play around with the speed anyway, yeah? Providing you give him the instruction on approach to the, whether it be emerging or the giveaway at the crossroads, if you use the word cover the brake.
Right.
Yeah? I'll be perfectly honest with you, on the video I could see the speed off most of the time, and I never went over 80, I never got to 20 mile an hour. Yeah?
It seemed it.
Yeah, so I didn't actually play around with the speed. And in some cases I was actually lifting off to give you a chance to start the routine, yeah? It was because you started the mirror signal position speed look routine, you started talking about it a bit too late. So it wasn't that I was going too fast. So the fact that I was only doing 18 mile an hour, how much, slower do you want me to go?
I think a lot of it was, I was, rather than just saying, check your middle mirror, anything behind, check your right mirror, I was trying to go into the reasons why. If I just got you to check the mirrors, and then I could have later on said, well, once we've gone round it, or stopped at the junction, I could then have said, the reason we're checking the mirrors is blah blah blah.
Yeah, you can always fill in the gaps later on.
Yeah.
In the same way,
I was doing too much on that approach.
In the same way, if you stop me at the first emerge, and normally you get me to apply the handbrake, and prepare the car, keep your hand on the handbrake, but don't go anywhere until I say so. You might look in your mirror, you might be just about to talk me through the observations, and there's a car behind us. Then you'll have to just tell me the observations and talk about it in the next one.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Any questions there?
No, we'll give it another go.
Yeah, so just take your time with it. It's not the speed, I can promise you. I wasn't going for I was never even getting a chance to hit 18, 90 mile an I think I hit 18 mile an hour at one stage. But because the crossroad was coming up, and we had an advantage, I actually took you around to the same crossroads nearly all the time, yeah?
Yeah.
We had an advantage. It was just you were too late talking about the mirror signal position speed look routine, and then you got into the swing of it.
Yeah.
But then we were turning right where I was on the major road, and the minor crossroads were on my left and my right, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think we went round 3 times, and on the first 2 occasions you never mentioned the walk across. If a car was coming towards me, you never mentioned the walk across, drive across road.
No,
yeah?
no, that's right.
So on the third one when we went around, there was a car coming, and I would have punished you in the same way as the SE would have done. I actually kind of lifted off a bit early, and I tried to time it that I got there nearly the same time as the car, and it still was a bit late mentioned. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Right, so I'll pause this and we'll restart it.